Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate everybody taking some time to watch the video. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. And if you've been on the channel for a while, thanks for hanging in there and supporting and being part of the channel for the last 2.5 years. Much appreciated. Guys, today I'm going to show you sort of my secret, I call it just a horny toad frog type modification slash hack. This is something that came out of necessity that I sort of came up with on my own, probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, maybe not quite that, 5 to 7 years ago. Because like a lot of people, I lost so many fish when I was fishing a dang toad. It's like you'd have fish blow up on them and you'd have them on for a little bit and they'd come off, or they'd blow up on it and miss it. And if you guys have fished, any type of the toad type lures like this, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, you simply don't catch all the ones that bite it, and especially before I went to this trick. Now, once I went to this particular hack that I'm going to show you guys here, my catch rates, my bite to land rates went up skyrocketing. It's like before, say if I got, in a day's fishing, if I got, 20 bites on some type of a toad, depending upon the type of cover that I was fishing, I may only get maybe half of those fish in the boat, maybe not even half of them. But with this particular modification, under the right conditions, I'm landing 90% of my bites that I get on a frog or on a toad. The only bites that I'm not landing are the ones that like come up and hit it with their mouth shut or something, or don't even touch the lure when they blow up on it. So we'll get into what this deal is here. Okay, let's start a little bit. First of all, here's the inherent problem when you're fishing frogs. This is the Zoom frog. This is one of my favorite frogs, guys. This is fairly new. Zoom came out with this called the Zoom frog, and this is the Zoom horny toad. Now the difference in the two is the Zoom frog is quite a bit more aggressive. It's got a louder sound in here, so it makes more noise, and the horny toad is a little bit more subtle. So just depending upon the conditions that I'm fishing, I'll go back and forth between it depending on how much noise I want. But the main thing about it is this is the traditional way most people rig a toad type lure. They've got an EWG hook. They come through the top like this and lay it on the top. And this is a very effective way to fish it if you're fishing extremely thick cover. In fact, it's about the only way to fish it. The problem with this, guys, this is probably the most inefficient way that you can rig a toad, because just take a look at how much plastic that you have right there. You've got a tremendous amount of plastic that gets in the way of the hook point. And even if you use one of those super wide gap hooks on the thing, it's still, you've got the same problem. There's just a lot in the way there, and this has been the problem. So after losing a ton of fish, I got thinking, it's like, I've got to figure out something to expose that hook a little bit more and set it back in. So this is what I found out, guys. I take a straight shank Gamakatsu G Finesse worm hook there, the heavy duty flipping type hook. And what I'm doing is I come through on the top of the lure here. You don't want to come through the bottom, and I'll explain why. So I thread the hook. And by the way, I did something on this, and it's probably been 1.5 years ago. I'm going into a little bit more detail, but I've covered this a little bit in the past for you old timers out there. But anyway, I'm threading it on like way down. I'm going as far down as I can. You see, I'm right through the middle of it, and I'm coming out right at the very end of it. So I've got this hook that is completely exposed like that. Now what happens is this thing right here, when you fish this particular thing, it will ride like this underwater every single time. That's the way it rides. It never rides hook above like that. It automatically turns down and it runs underneath. And guys, it's right at the end there, and when these fish come up and hit it, you get them every time. You got an exposed hook. Sometimes I'll even put like a tiny trailer hook treble on the back, and you will land almost every fish that you hit. Now, the drawback in this is obviously you can't fish this over matted vegetation like around lily pads or grass. This is the type of toad setup that I'm fishing around targets and objects and down bare banks. And that's actually my favorite way to fish it. I'll throw this thing up underneath the shade of overhanging trees around boat docks, around laydowns, around the edge of grass, you know, on grass edges, anywhere that I can come across open water areas. And one of the places, or one of the ways that I like to fish a toad lure is I use the toads I replace the buzz bait with a toad a lot, the same type of water that you throw a whopper plopper or a buzz bait. If you come through there with a toad or a frog, I get more bites on it. It's like it's something they don't see a lot. It's a little bit different sound. And if you rig it like this, you're never going to miss them. Now, another thing that I do with it, this goes a little bit more, is you still have a big mass of plastic on the toads like this. So one of the things that I like to do is I come in with a pair of scissors and I simply cut some slices out of it like that, maybe 3 or 4 along the side. And what this does, it doesn't do anything to the action of the bait, but what it does is it breaks up this solid mass of plastic here, and it gives you, the bait will collapse when the fish hits it a little bit more, and it gives you better odds to even get more of that hook in there. So anyway, guys, give this a try. Like I said, unless you're fishing matted vegetation, this is how I fish all my frogs 100% of the time. I'm covering a lot of water with it, and when they bite it, you'll get them on it. So just another tip to put in your grab bag of techniques there. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. I'd like to invite everybody that hadn't had a chance to subscribe to the channel to please hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back soon. Talk to you later.